Hello everybody, John here, your host on the Prepared Mind channel. Welcome back. Well, I thought we were going to have the holidays, and Christmas, followed by New Year's, some quiet time, and then we would start after New Year's Day, getting back into the politics of shit hits the fan, the military side of shit hitting the fan, the economic shit hits the fan. Well, I thought we would get it there in a little time. Well, guess what? President Trump didn't waste a fucking second. He didn't. He was on the gas 100%, and he trumpeted out to tweet. He went on the attack. Day 1 of 2018. This article was written in the New York Times. Look down below if you want to go read it yourself. New York Times 1-2-2018. Trump calls for the arrest of Huma Abedin, longtime Hillary Clinton aide. Would you look at that? That's right, it may be a new year, but if you were expecting a new Donald Trump to show up, well, you're out of luck. That's the first line. Now, Trump is not wasting any time. Not at all. This is what he tweeted. And this is a quote, verbatim. I'm reading right here, highlighted it so I wouldn't lose it. Crooked Hillary Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin, has been accused of disregarding basic security protocols. She put classified passwords into the hands of foreign agents. Remember sailors' pictures on submarine? Question mark. Jail! Exclamation point. Deep State Justice Department must finally act? Question mark. Also on Comey and others. Trump came out day 1. Business day 1 of 2018, he brought up Hillary Clinton, called her crooked Hillary, brought up Huma Abedin, says she disregarded basic security protocols with national security felony, pointed to the sailor who accidentally took a picture on a submarine in a place he wasn't. What happened to him? Even though the equipment room was basic, there were no secrets laid out on tables, no papers with passwords. That guy went to jail. A U.S. sailor took a picture in a restricted area, went to jail. Huma Abedin gives classified passwords to foreign agents. And then he calls out the Deep State Justice Department. Not only does he call it the Justice Department, but he calls it a name, Deep State. He's talking about, when he says that, so we can all understand, a secondary government. A secret government. The government we're not supposed to know about. We're only supposed to think about the Supreme Court and Congress and the President. We're not supposed to think about the deep state. That is, lifelong bureaucrats, foreign agents, double agents, triple agents. We're not supposed to think about any of that stuff. But the President of the United States. And that should not be lost on us. This is the President of the United States. This guy has the nuclear football. His name is Donald Trump, and we've been familiar with him since the early 80s. Right? I was 10, 11, 12, first time I saw Trump. Right? So to us, he's the Don. He's the Donald. He's the Trump. He's the you're fired guy. He's the let's make a deal guy. Right? The art of the deal. He's also the president. He just got rid of the penalty clause of Obamacare. He just got an enormous tax break for everyone except those of us who live in blue states. Right. He fired Comey. Fired him. Bam, you're fired. Fuck you, you're fired. Bam. He's doing what he promised in his campaign. In 1 year, he's got an incredible amount done. He's gotten rid of how many bureaucrats? 14,000 federal jobs? Something like that. 12, 14. It's a lot. More than 10,000. What else has he done? He's going to be appointing an enormous number of judicial seats, and these are lifetime appointments. Possibly going to get some Supreme Court appointments. Donald J. Trump, for what it's worth, is not going to be a president that goes down in the annals of history as having done nothing. Right? Now, maybe he's going to do some stupid shit too. Who knows? But right now, he's going after the bad guys. The people that I don't like. Why are they bad? Because they are doing things illegally. They're hypocrites. They are social fascists. I want them out of the government. I want my freedoms back. I want my rights reinstated. Never again to be violated by a country that thinks that because it has a national security concern, that my rights now are secondary or just privileges. Anyways, so this was amazing. Trump came right out. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen today when you're watching this? There could be something big else, and we're going to talk about that. All right? While Clinton was eventually cleared of criminal wrongdoing, this is the New York Times, Trump has nonetheless continued to call for further investigations of his former political rival. This isn't about Trump's political rival. This is about someone who has committed crimes, who has committed perjury, who, when asked about Benghazi and her part in it, said, "What difference does it make anyway?" This is the guy who's not going after a political rival, but who, during a political contest, said in front of God and the world, "If I'm president, you're going to jail," or words to that effect. And of course, you know, at that time, we all came off our couches and screamed and yelled, "Put the bitch in jail!" Right? But, you know, it's interesting. This story should be about Huma Abedin. This story should be about Hillary Clinton. Why is the President of the United States calling Hillary Clinton, former First Lady, former Senator, former Secretary of State? She is not an inconsequential member of the government. Why is he calling her Crooked Hillary? Well, one, it's an ad hominem attack, but also there's a lot of evidence to suggest that she is exactly what he's calling her. What's she going to do? Go into civil court and sue President Donald Trump for calling her Crooked Hillary? If that happens, I guess Trump will just have to be able to bring out all the information he has and then call witnesses to prove to the court that indeed it makes sense to call her Crooked Hillary. What a day. Bam. One tweet. Now, some people in one tweet can say more and cause more reaction, more things to happen with one tweet than the rest of us can in a lifetime. I touch. I used to touch a lot more, but now it's down like 10,000 a day, 5,000 a day, 2,000 a day. He just touched with that potentially 8 billion people. One tweet. Right? He's very powerful. He's said with one tweet, he's called out Comey, others, the State Department, the Justice Department, Hillary Clinton, basically Barack Obama, and Huma Abedin. Everybody associated with her. Everyone in the Uranium One deal. Everyone in law enforcement, everyone in every branch of the government that she's ever talked to is under the word others. Okay, but instead of talking about that, how powerful this is, it becomes a hit piece on the president. The next paragraph says, claims that Trump sexually harassed or assaulted more than a dozen women prior to his election are also fake news, according to the president. Now, so they're turning this around and trying to make it about him. That's called misdirection. But what's fabulous, what's amazing, is Trump is not playing games. He said he was going to drain the swamp, and he had to put together an administration. He had to put together a team. He had to weed out some moles. He had to get rid of some, shall we say, compromised cards. They were fired, they resigned, whatever it was, they had to leave. And it's understandable why. Because the press and the Democrats will, at any point, pull that up and throw it at him. Those would be cards to be playing on the Trump. well, you got this guy, you got that guy, you got that guy in your administration. So he's been getting rid of them and trying to put together a team that is not compromised. And he is going after the swamp, the deep state. Now, I was just minding my own business in my desk. And I looked up, and on YouTube, longtime Utah Senator Orrin Hatch will not seek re-election. Also from today, 1/2/2012. This was through legalinsurrection.com. But I found the story on Yahoo. Yahoo front page, Yahoo News, yahoo.com. A reputable, mainstream misleadia source. I just coined that, by the way. I just made that up. Out of the blue, guys. The misleadia, mainstream misleadia. All right. It won't catch. It's too wordy. Right? But Orrin Hatch is stepping down. Someone else that supposedly was going to step down was Paul Ryan, but that was, I think, dispelled back in December. But within 1 hour of this announcement of Orrin Hatch going down, Mitt Romney threw his hat in, and he may move to Utah so he can be their senator. I don't like that guy, Mitt Romney. Hillary moved to New York when there was a vacant seat and, claimed to be a New York sporting team fan because she liked their sporting goods, I guess. Anyways, where today's thinking really started, right, was with the Huma Abedin story. And I thought, if they're going after Huma Abedin, it's because Anthony Weiner, her estranged husband, came up in the news the other day. Again, it had to do with his computer files and him soliciting sex from allegedly soliciting sex from alleged minors that he allegedly sent tweets to and Snapchats. And he's an interesting guy, right? Surprised he's not arrested. Maybe he's on the others. What's important to know is that Trump is coming out. And I thought, if he's doing this on the 2nd of January, maybe I should refer back to what he did on December 21st, which is winter solstice, just a few days before Christmas. He signed an executive order. And this is it. It's at whitehouse.gov. It's a real executive order. The reference will be down below. Go look at it yourself. Executive order blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. This is a Trump executive order. I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, find that the prevalence and severity of human rights abuse and corruption that have their source in whole or in substantial part outside the United States, such as those committed or directed by persons listed in the annex to this order, have reached such scope and gravity that they threaten the stability of international political and economic systems. Human rights abuse and corruption undermine the values that form an essential foundation of stable, secure, and functioning societies, have devastating impacts on individuals, weaken democratic institutions, degrade the rule of law, perpetuate violent conflicts, facilitate the activities of dangerous persons, and undermine economic markets. The United States seeks to impose tangible and significant consequences on those who commit serious human rights abuse or engage in corruption, as well as to protect the financial system of the United States from abuse by these same persons. That was the second paragraph. You will find in there not only that, but the sections that are going to be referenced into United States Code. We got 3 pages of that listed down below. Signed, Donald A. Trump. White House, December 20th. It was released on the 21st. Annex. Here's the names. Mukhtar Hamid Shah, Pakistani. Angel Rondon Rijo, Dominican Republic. Don Gertler, Democratic Republic of the Congo. Maung So, Burma. Yama Sergei Kuziak. I'm butchering these names not on purpose. Benjamin Balmel, Julio Antonio Juarez Ramirez, Gulnora Islamanova Karamova from Uzbekistan, Slobodian Tessie, Artem Cheka Gao Yan, and Roberto Jose Rivas Reyes from Nicaragua. Now, by the powers vested in the president, he's going after those people. And he's going to block, right? He's going to go after their stuff. There is a huge, huge effort by the Trump administration to drain the swamp, to go after these people. Now, what's interesting about that is they're in other countries. The investigations into Hillary Clinton and John McCain and many others are already underway. The understanding that a lot of these American politicians are in the sealed indictments, and I think there's well over 1,000 of them, have probably been notified that they cannot leave the country. They may be wearing house arrest anklets. They may be under 24-hour surveillance to make sure they can't escape. It's looking like it's very serious because Trump's executive order talks about these human rights violations are a national security threat because they threaten the democratic institutions. They threaten our economy even. That's how important these are. Now, these names I just read that were listed in the appendix or the annex, they're not household names, not to me. But they may be connected to people who are under investigation. Trump came out today and called out Comey, Crooked Hillary, and Huma Abedin by name, as well as talking about the State Department and others. Is he giving us a clue? Is this the next step? Now, what I do like about Trump's approach, it's irritating as hell, and I understand it, is he's got to tweet 6, 7, 8 times a day. Well, he's the commander-in-chief. But what is he doing? He's calling out people by name. He's complaining. The mainstream press isn't going to carry the water for him. The mainstream misleadia, they're not carrying the water for him. So he's got to put it out there himself. And he does it with tweets. And it pisses everyone off. And it gets passed around through the mainstream media that way. But it causes the Democrats, his political adversaries, economic opponents, international opponents in diplomacy and politics, causes them to react, causes them to play their hand. And he has already in 1 year rope-a-doped many, many people into playing his game. And it's his game. Donald Trump is playing the game the way he likes to, and he's getting results. To me, it's incredibly fascinating. Incredibly fascinating how he's getting these people to out themselves. This is day 1 of 2018. There are dire predictions for many events to start coming down the road, down the pipe. This executive order, Trump can add anyone's name to it he likes. Anyone. He can just add them to the executive order. If he can make the executive order, he can add them to the executive order. Are these people named because there's concrete evidence already well in hand? And if there's concrete evidence to them, enough that they belong in an executive order, then that evidence, just their name alone, just their name alone is going to tie them to Americans. Now, I've discovered over the last few years that my name is associated with things I've done. And you can research them on the internet. We all can, about all of us. And when you're a high-profile person, you don't get privacy anymore. If you're a public figure, privacy is out the window. People can take things out of context, but what can't be taken out of context is people who are associated with others. Those names that I read, that you can go research for yourself. Who in American politics and corporate business is tied to them? That research needs to be done. I didn't want to bring that thing up But because of Huma Abedin and that tweet today, I thought, I can see a connection between the two. And people like Orrin Hatch, that apparently don't have anything to do with anything, they're stepping down, they're retiring, they're not going to seek re-election. How many people have come up in these investigations, been visited by the FBI, and they cut a deal and said, I'll turn state's evidence, I'll give you names. And I'm not saying Hatch has done anything wrong. I'm just saying the potential for that to be there. What you do is you ask for immunity, and you say, you give me full immunity, I'm now immunized, and now I'm going to give you names. I'm now going to name names. Right? This is how the government works. This is how they get informants and information. It's going to be quite fascinating in the days and weeks to come. Cliff High, right, who does his Half Past Human, I believe is his website. I keep getting close to getting an interview with him. But I just haven't been able to pin him down, and he's a very busy guy. A lot of bigger channels really are taking a lot of his time. But Cliff High has talked about how there's going to be enormous political turmoil. There is so much in his database that he's mined that we're looking at many members of Congress, Senate and House, and other businessmen that are just going to be fried over the information that's coming out. It's coming out. The energy's not going away, including information about new technology, Antarctica, and including Pizzagate. Including Pizzagate, which is child pedophilia, right? Child abuse. What did he call it? Let me pick that up again. I think you could probably call that involved in serious human rights abuse, right? Sex slave trafficking, child slave trafficking. We're in the United States of America, and we like to pretend that the world is a sanitary place. It is not. It is not. It is a very dirty place. We're not just talking about things that are morally questionable, right? We're talking about obvious violations of someone else's rights. That is, keeping them and doing things to them against their will. Right? Human rights violations. This is going to get really interesting. What do you guys think? It is going to be crazy. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a night on that. It's been a long day. You can see the clock behind me. I get to go back to work. Always back to work for John. Never a dull moment. But it's working for me, so I can have a scotch. Anyways, you guys, think about it. Think about what's coming. Look at the timetables. We need to very, very carefully examine where we're going. Because if some big dominoes are hit, big dominoes like Hillary, how about dominoes in the banking system? How about dominoes who are big Democratic, maybe even Republican campaign funders? When they get knocked over, who are they next to? Who are they going to touch when they fall? And could we see a domino effect down the line? It is very possible. We could see huge swaths of this nation sitting in their chairs shocked, not understanding what happened. And it looks to me, sounds to me like Trump started it day one, 2018. And it falls right in line with what everyone knows is going on out there. Right? But everyone pretends like it's just in the bad movies, the horror movies, the thrillers, where this type of crazy shit goes on. With these truly powerful secret societies, with truly powerful people who have massive amounts of wealth, and even countries, that's right, countries at their beck and call. Right? I'm not bringing out conspiratorial stuff here, but I know, right, because of my experience and the experience of others who have come out and said, these very powerful, wealthy bankers, businessmen, politicians, are sick in the head. And it's going to come to the top. I think it's going to come out. Right? There's a coup. If you remember way back during the election, maybe before it and certainly after it, I said there's going to be a coup attempt. Trump is going to out these people. He has Andrew Jackson on the wall in his office. Right, he's against the banks. He wants to drain the swamp. It's going to be a fight. And when there's a fight on a level this high with players this big, they can cause shit to hit the fan. And that's why it's important for us as preppers not to talk about this for the mere titillation of it. Not for the mere curiosity, morbid or not. But it could cause shit to hit the fan. They could knock over a big bank, which could cause an enormous amount of trouble. They could knock over some big politicians, which could cause so many other politicians to recuse themselves or step down, resign, run in fear, that we could have a constitutional crisis on the national level. We need to be prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. It's gonna get hot, folks. Get ready. Thank you for watching. Share your opinions in the comments section, but most of all, think about it. That's why we're here, is doing these exercises, thinking about information and how it applies to us. Because I'm the expert in my world, you're the experts in your own worlds. And by sharing information, we can learn from each other. So thank you for coming here to learn what it is that I'm thinking about today. You guys be cool, Semper Fi, chance favors, the prepared mind is yours. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.